Yo guys, what's up? Back with another video, and today I'm going to be telling y'all my top 25 rankings after week 14. So for number 1, I moved Ohio State back. The Indiana move wasn't insane. I think if you have Indiana at 1, I don't have a problem with it necessarily. It is really, I think it's a toss-up. I really don't know who's going to win this Big Ten championship. Either team could, to me. I was picking Indiana, but now, does Indiana have the depth that Ohio State does? Just a question. But the reason I did move Indiana at 1 last rankings was because Ohio State doesn't play anyone. That's the truth. It's not just me saying that because I don't like them. It's the truth. They don't play anyone. So when you look at the Texas game, who is number 13 right now, not even in the playoffs, they didn't play too well. Defense, yeah, sure, but Arch Manning also could have hit some better passes, and Texas could have easily won that game if Arch Manning could just throw a football. He can now. He's improved. I'm not going to say he's great, but he's okay now. He can throw a football to a curl route. So take that as you want to, but Ohio State, you can say, they didn't want to pass it much with their quarterback, but they passed it 20 times, and they've passed it 20 to 25 times on average with him this season, and I think the most they passed it with him was 32 times. He went 29 out of 32 versus a nobody school because they don't like to sub him out, if you want to go and look. That's why his stats are so good. They don't sub him out, but I'm not going to get into that. He threw it 20 times versus Texas. Jeremiah Smith dropped a few passes, like 3. I don't know exactly how many. I know he dropped some easy ones, but that's fine. It wouldn't have gone for much. He dropped maybe one of them would have. But other than that, they played like they have been. Defense, it was pretty decent. Offense passed it the same amount of times as they have been every single game. And the Ohio State fans are used to watching them get 50-yard explosives back to back to back against these bad teams like Purdue and Wisconsin. So when they see them go against a good defense and they aren't picking up those explosives just, automatically, they were holding back. But why would a team hold back in a game that's 14-7? I don't know. So, I don't really think they held back. I think it's more of Texas just has a good defense, and they need to respect it and not say that they were just holding back, So, that's how I look at it. Sorry for talking so much, but yeah, Ohio State is number 1, but they're pay to win. So, for number 2, I have Indiana. It's not unrealistic. It's not a hot take. It's been like this the whole season. Nobody has a problem with it. But, other than Fernando Mendoza and that receiver, which I don't even know his name. I forgot it. I have heard of it, but I really forgot it. But other than them two, what big name players do they actually have? I know they have some, but they don't have any just star players that are just making plays every single play. You know what I mean? And even if they do, who do they play? 20-15 against Michigan. Michigan is not a good football team. I don't care if they're ranked or not. They aren't a good football team, and I don't know why they are 9-3. Or how. I was going to say why they're ranked, but that's because they're 9-3. But I don't know how they're 9-3. They're just a few points away, from being 6-6, something like that. I think I said that already. But, yeah. One more thing. If the number 1 team has a 7-point game, something like that, with a top 15 team. I've said this before, it's valid, but anything outside of the top 15, it is invalid, and I'm going to be like, you didn't play a number one worthy game, and I don't know if you're the number one worthy team. And Ohio State keeping it a 7-point game with Texas, it's not something to really look down on because Texas isn't a bad team. But, I mean, I'm tired of people acting like Ohio State's just unstoppable. Because clearly they've been stopped a few times. They threw 2 picks to Ohio. Okay, I'm not even going to talk about it no more. On Indiana right now, I don't know how much depth they have. I know they have some, but I don't know how much they have because I don't watch Indiana play Purdue. I'm not going to lie. I don't see a point in watching them beat a team 50-0, 56-3. I don't see a point in watching that unless I'm just a diehard Indiana fan, and that's something I'm not. So I don't see a point in watching that. Purdue is a terrible team, but, I still think they're number 2 for right now, but I don't know how much depth they have, and even if they don't have much depth, Georgia, Alabama, the SEC teams are too beat up to even barely compete. I mean, they can compete still, but, man, this Alabama team is in shambles right now. Georgia, too, but Alabama, I think, is the most beat-up team in the playoffs right now. It's pretty bad. I don't think they're the worst team in the playoffs. I think that's maybe that depends on who the 12 seed's going to be. Maybe Oklahoma. Guaranteed teams, maybe Oklahoma. Alabama, they only lost to Oklahoma because of a field goal miss, and they played their worst game of the season versus them. They're really better than Oklahoma. So I think Oklahoma's really a free win for anybody, like Matt B. Great says. So, Indiana number 2 for right now. All right, before y'all say anything, look, I love the SEC. That is my favorite conference. I hate all the other conferences. But for right now, skill-based wise, health-based wise, I mean, the SEC right now, every team in the SEC right now has at least 5 injuries, or at least all the SEC teams in the playoffs. Georgia, Texas A&M, they haven't played a real schedule. They played the bottom feeders of the SEC, and they lost to Texas by 10 points, which, like I said, Texas is not a bad football team. This is dang near a playoff team if they didn't play Ohio State. And they really almost beat Ohio State. So, take that as you want. I don't know, man. Georgia, they're really beat up badly. Alabama is terribly beat up. Oklahoma, they don't have an offense. Their quarterback took a fall off after his injury, and ever since that injury, he was the Heisman favorite. Let that sink in. He was the Heisman favorite, came back from the injury, and now averages a pick a game. That's terrible. He threw 3 picks versus LSU, which LSU has a good defense, but it's not that good. It's good, but it's not on that level. DJ Lagway had 5 interceptions, but DJ Lagway has also not been playing his best football, just like John Mateer has not been playing his best football. 3 picks to anybody is not a good look. That just means that you're not an elite quarterback. If you can't keep yourself from throwing 3 or more picks versus an elite defense, you're not an elite quarterback. Doesn't mean you're terrible, but right now he's playing bad, pretty bad. So, this is just a really bad situation for the SEC right now. It's not looking great for them. They won't make it to the Natty. I can't see it happening unless the only team I can see making it is Texas A&M because they are the only healthy SEC team in the playoffs right now. So that's the only team I can see really making it to the national championship, and they're not even that good. So they're good, but they're not that good. So just let that sink in too. Yeah, but Notre Dame, they're at number 3. These are power rankings. These are how these teams look. Who's better? You know what I mean? These are not resume right now, because if I was doing resume, Alabama would be at number 1 right now. So, yeah, Notre Dame at 3. So, for number 4, I did keep Georgia. I don't know who. I thought about Texas Tech, but I don't know, man. I feel like Georgia still has juice left in them. I mean, I just don't know how much. We're going to see this Saturday, though. For number 5, I have Texas Tech. I think that they're a pretty good team, pretty solid team. They have an argument for number 4, jumping Georgia, just because Georgia is so beat up and injured right now. I feel like Texas Tech would actually give Georgia a really good game, and if Georgia Tech can do it and almost beat them, and Georgia Tech has one of the worst defenses, if they can do that and keep it a 16-9 game with Georgia, who knows what Texas Tech can do to Georgia. But since Georgia has shown like how good they are in other games and other showings, I'm not just going to immediately take that away from the week before they look good and then just take it away because they had one game where they looked bad. Good defensively, bad on offense. One bad offensive game, and I call them trash. I'm not going to do that. So, Texas Tech is 5 for right now. So, for number 6, I have Oregon. I'm still not sold on them, but maybe they are good. Maybe they aren't. I get a lot of my information, not all of it, because a lot of this is my own opinion, because clearly if you go and watch a lot of the sources that I like, I mean, lots of people get a lot of their information from sources and from their own. It's always good to have others' opinions, other analysts. So I do get my sources from a lot of other, famous people, and a lot of things that I had, they also had, and a lot of things they disagree on, from what I think. But a lot of those sources that I watch say maybe Oregon is good. Maybe they are. If you guys do watch football YouTubers, y'all know who I'm talking about. And maybe they are. I'm still not sure yet. I feel like if they got shut down by Indiana offensively, couldn't Oklahoma shut them down offensively? Would 20 points be enough to beat Oklahoma? That's the big question, though. Is Oklahoma good enough offensively to score over at least 20 points? So, I think Oklahoma and Oregon would be a very good matchup, and I hope we see that in the playoffs. But yeah, Oregon at number 6. So I thought about Ole Miss here, but Ole Miss, I don't think Ole Miss is bad, but at the same time, how good are they without Lane Kiffin? Lane Kiffin is a good head coach. I don't think he's in that great category yet, but I think he is a really good coach right now. I don't think Ole Miss as a team is bad. I don't think they were just carried, They have a pretty decent, lineup, but man, Lane Kiffin is a good coach. I don't know how they'll turn out without him. So, I'm not going to put them here. They will be here soon, though. So, for number 8, Ole Miss, I said they'll be here soon. It's not really a surprise. I think number 8 is almost a perfect spot for Ole Miss right now. Without Lane Kiffin and without a performance without him. You know what I mean? They are 11-1. It is a team sport, so like I said, they do have a pretty decent lineup. But without Lane Kiffin, what will happen? Will the quarterback start throwing picks? Will they start having more mistakes? Who knows? They still have coordinators. Coordinators do not change with the head coach. The coordinators are their own person. They can still call the plays, but Lane Kiffin is a critical piece that they just lost. So we'll see how they turn out. Look, I know I don't have Oklahoma here, but I mean, is Oklahoma really better than Alabama, or did Alabama just play their worst game of the season other than Florida State? You tell me. I think that they just played their worst game of the season, and Oklahoma only won because of a chip shot 36-yard field goal missed by Connor Talty. So, you take that as you want. I think Alabama is better than Oklahoma in every facet, whatever you want to say, of the game. I think their pass game is better. Run the game, I don't even know. Defense, I mean, Alabama has a pretty good defense. Oklahoma has a good defense. I think that's even. But I think Alabama is the better team, and it was really just a fluke loss. Alabama beat themselves when Oklahoma won. So, therefore, I have Alabama ranked ahead of them. So, for number 10, I have Vanderbilt. I don't care what you think. They only lost to Texas because Arch Manning played like his preseason predictions, and that was on the game that he did. And I don't think that it was Vanderbilt's fault for bad defense. I think that Arch Manning just played really good that game. Vanderbilt did too. I think that Diego Pavia played his best game. I was watching that game, praying for Diego Pavia miracle, and I thought it was unrealistic, and then it started happening, and there it goes. Vanderbilt really gets onside kick, but it goes out of bounds, and they lose by 3 points. I think that Vanderbilt is a really good team. Texas just played really good. Vanderbilt is that close to being 11-1 right now. And Alabama, yeah, they made really good plays on defense. So I don't really think that was a fluke when a team can punch the ball out of their hands, rip it out of their arm. I don't think that's a fluke. I think that was a genuine loss. I mean, Alabama just made really good plays. They've been doing it all season, so it's not like they just played their best game of the season. The defense has been stripping the ball from multiple teams this season, so I think that was a genuine loss. Vanderbilt is that close to being 11-1, so I think that they're underrated right now. All right, so Texas at number 11 is not a hot take at all. I think a lot of people actually agree with this, unless, you're not an SEC fan, you're a Big Ten bias fan. Yeah, they should have not lost to Florida, but they also could have not scheduled the number 1 team that was number 3 before this in the preseason, so it's not like, they were number 20 or something. They scheduled them because they thought they were going to be bad. That was a number 3 team, and they knew what the consequences would be if they lost. They knew that they would lose the number 1 spot, and that's what happened, and now they're being punished for it. And Texas, I don't think they're better than Vanderbilt, like on average. I'm talking about like the average play of both teams. I think that Vanderbilt is better. And on both of their tops is Texas, clearly. But Vandy's right under them. But on average, they have not. Okay, Vanderbilt has played really good these past few games, and ever since the Texas game too. Texas, they've just been playing average, just stagnant, just staying right on average, and then played good versus Texas A&M, but I don't think they've been playing good to beat Vanderbilt, like good enough to beat Vanderbilt. So for number 12, I have Oklahoma. I know that it looks like I'm just putting a bunch of SEC teams here, but, I mean, the SEC is clearly the best overall conference, has the best teams, has the majority of the teams that are deserving of top 25. It's not biasness, it's just the truth. And really, with these rankings that I'm putting out right now, that would mean if it was just like the top 12 teams, just 12 ranked teams, no auto bids and stuff, just 12 ranked teams, how many SEC teams would get in? 7. And I don't think that's unrealistic. I think Texas, Vandy, Alabama, Oklahoma, Georgia, Texas A&M, Ole Miss are all worthy of the playoffs, and there shouldn't be any argument with that other than Texas lost to Florida, and that's it. That's the only argument there should be with those. I don't think it's unrealistic. I just think that the SEC has a majority of good teams, and that's why I'm ranking them here. I had Miami at 13 last rankings, and I don't see a point in moving them. Miami got stuffed by SMU and Louisville. Those losses do not go away. Yeah, any team can look like they've improved when all they play is cupcakes. It's not really fair. Notre Dame gave up 30 to Purdue. Don't forget that. I think Notre Dame is really good, but don't forget that they gave up 30 to Purdue after losing to A&M and Miami. But I don't think Miami is a top 10 team right now. They have not played like it this season. They did it in the first half of this season. Well, maybe not even the first half. The 1/3 of the season they've played like a top 10 team. I had them at number 1 for a long time. But they just haven't, they lost to SMU, lost to Louisville, and they were both ugly losses. 4 picks to Louisville, 2 picks to SMU. Both of them lost you all the game. I don't care if you say, other than the picks, everything else looks good. The quarterback is the most important position on your team a lot of the time. Maybe it's not every time, but if you want to win a national championship, it is the most important position on your team. And if you can't keep them from throwing picks, y'all are not a championship team. All right, Utah 14. I don't see a point in dropping them or anything like that. I don't get why people talk about them struggling versus Kansas because it doesn't really matter. They're perfectly ranked. They're not even in the playoffs. I don't know why it's such a big deal. But when they talk about them struggling versus Kansas, I think back to Missouri struggling even more versus Kansas. Missouri beat Kansas 42-31. Let up more points, but scored more points. Just maybe a 10-point difference on the game. They beat them by 11. Utah beat Kansas 31-21 by 10. What Utah struggled with was stopping the run. That was it. That was literally it, I think, from the stats. I didn't think I needed to watch that game, and I didn't because why would I? That wasn't a playoff game for Utah. They're not going to make the playoffs. So I didn't watch it, but yeah, you can tell when the run game hurt them from stats. It did. That's probably what they struggle with, and they were down at some points in the game. So, but I still don't really know what the issue is because Missouri was ranked for the majority of the season and struggled with Kansas just as bad as Utah did. So, I don't get that. I do not think Virginia is a great team by any means. They're okay. They're decent, but I don't think Virginia is a playoff caliber team like that. They can make it. They most likely will. Ain't that right? Right? If they win their conference, they'll make it against Duke. Duke has a possibility of making it too. Does Kennesaw State? I don't even know. So I read a comment. I'm not sure about that. But yeah, Virginia, they're at 15. I don't think they're bad. I don't think they're good. I think they're just mid. Like I said, just an average team. Number 15 is about perfect form right now because the rest of my rankings and the rest of the teams that are going to be ranked are not super good teams, and they're not the most deserving of it. I'm just not going to rank 7 and 5 teams that are good, just got unlucky with the schedule. Because 7 and 5 teams being ranked don't deserve it if they didn't beat the competition they played. Alright guys, I'm just going to end the video here. I think 15 is enough considering that the rest of the rankings are going to be just teams that don't even deserve it like that. So, I guess 15 are the teams that I think have the most chance of getting, or not the most chance, or just my top 15 teams in general. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm kind of tired right now, guys, if y'all couldn't tell. I think I'm talking with a little bit of a slur right now. I'm tired right now. So, yeah. I'm just going to do 15. Thank y'all for watching.